Hi class, Mr. Berta here. Here's how I'd go about solving review problem number 2. First, I want to identify the y-intercept, and looking at the graph, it looks like it's at the point 0, 8. All right, so I'm going to write that in here, 0, 8. And then I can identify the x-intercepts. There's 3 of them. Looks like x equals -8. So that is at -8, 0. It looks like there's another 0 at -2, 0. And that one actually is a turning point. So I know its multiplicity is double. And then the third one is at 1. Okay, so what do I do next? I can put this polynomial, I'm going to call it f of x. I can write it in the factored form. I do need an a leading coefficient. I'm going to go ahead and figure that out during the next step. But what I do next is I just write in the corresponding factors that correspond to each of the x-intercepts that I found. So the x-intercept of -8, that corresponds to a factor of x plus 8, right? That's because if I plug a -8 in for x here, this factor is 0. All right, I do the same thing for the next factor. And because this one has a multiplicity of 2, because it's a turning point, all right, I know that I've got to square it because it appears twice in this formula, in this equation. And then the third factor that corresponds to this third 0, that is going to be x minus 1. So now, how do I figure out what a is going to be? Well, I need to plug in 0 because I know that when I plug in 0 for x, the output's going to be 8. I know that because I've identified the y-intercept. So if f of 0 equals 8, I can set that equal to a times 0 plus 8 times 0 plus 2, that factor is squared, times 0 minus 1. So 8 equals a, this becomes simplified to times 8 times 2 squared times -1. Keep going. This becomes a times -32. All right, I'm going to divide each side by -32. And that means that a will equal 8 over -32, which can be simplified to -1/4. So what I do then is I take that value for a and I plug it in up here. When I do that, I will get the polynomial equation for this graph. So my final answer is going to be f of x equals -1/4. And then I go ahead and write out the factors that I've already come up with. Not forgetting the exponent for any 0 that has multiplicity greater than 1. I can always check my work here. So this is my equation. I can check it by putting this equation into my graphing calculator, which I've done right here. And I've changed the 0 to match up what is shown in the drawing here in the sketch. And sure enough, the graph looks like what was provided to me in the problem. Nicely done.